So good morning, everyone, and welcome to our meditation time. And so there is an expression in sometimes in English that when there's maybe something to do or some idea comes up to do something, someone might say, "Well, why not? Why not? Why not just do it?" And I suppose sometimes that's maybe foolish, and maybe sometimes it's wise to just have that be the deciding factor. But no sound. So is it true that no one, as people don't hear sound? I see one comment. Why don't we wait here and see sound? All the indications, sound is good. Okay, great. So, So this idea of, why not do something? But I'm going to offer that for this meditation. Why not be kind? Why not have some degree of goodwill as you sit here and meditate? Why not? Probably there's no good reason why not. It's actually considered a very useful aspect of meditation practice is to do it with goodwill. And one of the things that needs our goodwill maybe the most sometimes, our kindness, our friendliness, our warmth, our loving kindness, are all the places inside that don't have that. The feelings, the attitudes, the beliefs, the habits, the conditioning, the difficulties that exist within us, the momentum inside of us of anything but goodwill, anything but kindness, the harshness, the hurt, the anger, the shame, all kinds of things that are quite powerful for some people, for all of us sometimes. And the very parts that are difficult to have kindness for, to have friendship towards, goodwill towards, to hold in kind regard, is the very thing that probably needs the most of it. And so when we bring mindfulness to these difficult parts of ourselves, one of the things you might consider is that our careful attention, the mindfulness, is a form of kindness, is a form of kind regard. Just to be aware of it, to allow it to be there and just really see something is a kind of love, I believe. So can you, during this sitting, somehow find in some parts of you, maybe in some small little corner, some place where being aware of the breathing, your body, your experience, being aware of what is difficult for you, that you can be aware of it with a kind regard, with goodwill, with kindness, with friendliness, with some kind of goodwill. And let that be the support for you to sit here and meditate and become simpler, become quieter, become more just content or at ease, just to be here, even with what is difficult, holding everything in a field, in a heart of kindness. So, sitting upright and gently close your eyes and begin a process of gentling your body. Or to say it differently, do it to calm or relax. Perhaps relaxing the face, Sometimes the muscles of the face are overused. And if we pay careful attention, we'll notice that some of the muscles of the face might be tired from the effort of being held in any particular way. And to allow the muscles of the face to rest. They're not needed to be engaged at this time. It's okay and it's safe to let the muscles of the face relax. And then you can also maybe allow the muscles of the shoulders to rest, to relax. Maybe they're also tired from their effort. Or maybe there's a subtle, almost like a desire in the shoulders to finally release, relax. And perhaps also in the belly. That maybe, just maybe, it might be nice for the belly to be soft, relaxed, settled. The belly doesn't have to be protecting ourselves all the time. Right now it's okay to relax. And the heart also can have a kind of a desire or a longing or a pull to not be agitated, to be allowed to be at ease. And as you exhale, you might relax the heart area. Soften the whole body sitting here. And then to search inside of yourself in any way that's your way, in any way that is simple and not a lot of work, in some way that's not perfect, to find a place of goodwill, of kindness, metta, where you can hold yourself or what's difficult in you in kind regard, in appreciating, valuing that it would be nice if you were happy and well, and that you wish yourself. That's a beautiful and appropriate wish to have, to wish yourself well. And at the same time to appreciate receiving those well-wishings. To have this simple, friendly relationship with oneself. And then with whatever goodwill you have, to let that be part of your awareness of the body breathing. Almost as if your body breathing is also a support and a companion in this goodwill to self. Perhaps as you exhale, to allow there to be a quieting of the mind. The thinking mind is probably also would like to finally rest and not work so much. Allow it to quiet. Maybe the thinking mind thinking can soften. Perhaps even for a minute or two, you can, as you soften your thinking, quiet your thinking, choose to have thoughts of goodwill, of well-wishing for yourself. Perhaps a relaxing into goodwill, a relaxing, opening, allowing yourself to have a warm-hearted attitude in which through which you're being mindful, with which you're being aware. And then as we come to the end of this sitting, to bring your attention to what is soft within you. A place of softness, tenderness, maybe in the area of the heart. Somewhere in the chest perhaps. The kind of softness and tenderness that comes from a simple feeling of kindness or love or care. When you do feel loving or caring or kind, in the simplest, most relaxed kind of way, where do you feel that in the body? And what would it be like to breathe through that part of your body? As if the exhale was ascending off into the world, spreading, suffusing your goodwill outward. That the hard boundaries of the body, of the self, become permeable to a suffusing idea or image or vision, feeling of tender kindness. And with a simplicity to it, without grand plans or needs, to extend your goodwill to others. May it be that others experience well-being, that others experience peace. May it be that my kindness and goodwill were able to touch others with a touch of safety, friendship, goodwill. May it be that my kindness, my kind regard for others be translated or be expressed in acts of body, speech, and mind that are for the benefit and the welfare of all beings everywhere. May it be that through my actions, that this day becomes a little more easeful for someone else, that someone else feels supported, feels safer, feels encouraged and appreciated. May it be that our meditation practice together spreads outwards a feeling of goodwill to the hundreds of people that those of us sitting here today might have some communication with. May it be like a ripple spreading out from the 500 people meditating now, out widely into the world, a shared care for the world. So greetings again, and today is the final talk on wise speech. And there are these 5 questions that we can ask based on the 5 criteria the Buddha suggests for what is wise speech, for when we should speak. And, excuse me. And so the first is, through the question, is it true? Is what I'm going to say timely? Is it kind or nourishing or supportive or pleasing? Is it gentle? The opposite of harsh. The fourth is it beneficial? And today is not so much about the words themselves, but the question is, as I speak, is there a mind, a heart of kindness, a metta citta, a mind, a heart of loving kindness, of metta? That if we can speak from a mind or with a mind of goodwill, of friendliness, then we speak. And so this is a kind of a high standard, but an interesting place where the Buddha applies these 4 criteria is if the monastics, talking to his monastics, there are occasions where another monastic needs to be admonished, or needs to be receive some feedback, or needs to be criticized even, maybe. And so he gives these 5 criteria for when we go towards someone in order to provide this feedback that we have to give. And so if we have some difficult words to talk to someone, and we have to really talk to them about the behavior, or we're going to stand up in a demonstration and protest and speak or express ourselves in very clear and strong terms about what we feel is right and wrong, or what we want to clearly feel if we want to oppose. From the Buddhist point of view, in those situations, because the Buddha recognizes there are times when that's appropriate to have these difficult conversations, to ask ourselves these 5 questions, ending with, do I have a heart of kindness? Certainly don't speak that way and reproach someone from a mind of hatred or ill will or anger. Well, anger that has hostility in it, at least. There can be very strong, fierce no that some people might say is anger, but there's no hostility. In fact, there could be goodwill, that somehow, kindness, that somehow towards the person that is included. And this is a high standard in challenging situations where there's difficult discussions. And some people might feel that to have kindness and goodwill, friendliness, is too high a standard. Then it's hopeless. I'll never be able to speak to someone. But the Dharma does have high standards. And that's why we have a practice. That's why we look at ourselves and work with ourselves and gradually learn, move in the direction where we can live a life of goodwill, that we can have that heart. It doesn't mean that goodwill means we don't act and don't speak up and don't even protest or don't talk strongly in feedback with people that needs to receive it or we feel need to receive it. But we do it from that place of goodwill, the place of really considering is it beneficial for everyone? Am I speaking from the place of benefit into myself? So I'm not harming myself as I speak. Is it beneficial for our community? Is it beneficial for the person I'm talking with? Am I doing it in the ways that are not harsh? Is it doing it in a way that, so these criteria. So the Buddha does recognize the importance of speaking up. But then these criteria. This idea of acting and speaking with kindness, with metta, is taught in a very particular place, where the Buddha says that this is for a monastic. There's a tremendous emphasis on non-violence, non-harming. However, if a monastic is being attacked, physically attacked, the monastic is allowed, I think the language means to strike out for the purposes of escaping. In other words, it's possible to maybe back in those days, to throw up your arms to block someone who's going to hit you in order to stop the hit, but so that you can leave, so you can get out of the way, not to fight the person, but to become safe. So you're allowed to in the Buddhist monastic community, allowed a certain degree of contact like this. However, and the reason I'm telling you this, however, there is a criteria that's required if the monastic's going to do this. And that is, there has to be kindness in their heart. There has to be loving kindness, metta, a mind of loving kindness. And this monastic precept or rule is probably behind what this famous Indian teacher named Munindraji, who was a teacher for Joseph Goldstein and Sharon Salzberg in India, they introduced them to Vipassana. There was a Western woman who I think was accosted or something, or there was some on the street maybe, India, and so she came to Munindra and said, "What do I do if someone comes and accosts me in some way?" And Munindra said, "With all the loving kindness you can muster, you hit them over their head with your umbrella." And I think the idea is in order to escape, in order to make yourself safe. So the emphasis here I want to make is that it's not so much that we are supposed to hit people all the time with the umbrella, but there are ways in which we are supposed to take care of ourselves and make ourselves safe. But this very high standard, to do it with loving kindness, to do it with metta. And I'm sure that there's people who will strongly protest that if they do that, they can't be safe, it's not appropriate, people deserve our hostility, they deserve something different, that will be too forgiving, too soft, too not strong enough in our protest or in our caring for ourselves. And I would like to suggest that loving kindness might look maybe kind of soft, because there is a softness to it, but it can be also very strong. That there can be a strength in showing up with kindness, a strength in not giving in to hostility, a strength to not be harsh in our voice, but to be strong. This whole idea of these 5 questions, 5 criteria for wise speech, is not meant to be wishy-washy, it's not meant to be evasive or just kind of vague or kind of say things in such a broad, soft way that no one really knows where we are and where we stand. But it's also possible to be quite definitive, to speak our mind or what's going on, to really be clear and precise and even strong in our statements. But in doing that, people will feel that we're not here to diminish anyone, we're not here to hate anyone, we're not here to dismiss anyone, and we're really here to speak strongly with kindness, with looking for what's beneficial, with a kind of caring voice or kindness, or not this harshness that's almost like hostile. And they begin feeling that when we speak, we know how to speak what's true. Or to say a different way, we know how to speak what's actual, what's really kind of close in, and we can rely on those words because these are not wild interpretations, they're not assumptions, they're not judgments, they're not, or abstract blame. They're really kind of staying close to the experience, what's happening here. And it's timely. People feel like, yes, this, if not now, then when? This is a good time. So to cultivate a heart, a mind of kindness, of goodwill, of friendliness. And there's all these different ways of translating metta into English. And probably each of you will find some of these words more useful than other words. The word loving kindness, that's the common translation for it. It's beautiful translation of metta. And for some people, it's maybe a little bit too high, too idealistic, or too a little bit vague about how do you do that. Because it's possible to have goodwill for others without loving them. And if the idea is you have to have loving kindness for everyone, that might be too high a standard. But to always have goodwill, to always approach and be with people with well-wishing for everyone, for the person you're in conflict with oneself, with, that yes, there's well-wishing, and I don't have to love you. I don't have to, be gushing with kind of kindness and, but basic human friendliness, goodwill, well-wishing, that is where we're coming from. And to do so is beneficial for ourselves. That is nourishing. Because in the Dharma, we're always using as a reference point, what is it that nourishes, supports our own inner growth and development? That doesn't have to exist apart from our engagement with the world. In fact, the engagement in the world has greater value for the world if we're staying close to the development, the growth of our own freedom, our own kindness, our own honesty, our own capacity for being present in an aware way, to be nourished from the inside. So these 5 questions, I would encourage you to experiment with them and become adept at it, and maybe talk to other people, have conversations about each of these 5 questions and what do people think about it, and really massage and work and make them part of your life, if not just for this coming weekend, but maybe for a while, and see how it begins shifting and changing your perspective on things and your understanding of yourself and what you'll learn in the process. To become a wise speaker is to become a wise person. So thank you very much. And I have one announcement I'd like to make, and that is the Buddha that you see behind me here. As a custom of monastics, they sometimes go on a rains retreat. And so the Buddha Sunday afternoon is going to go off for a while. I don't know how long he's going to go off to meditate on his rains retreat. There's his place on the altar here at IMC is going to be replaced. Taking his place will be one of the great female monastic disciples of the Buddha named Patachara. And so her statue will be here starting for all you on Monday morning. And maybe Monday I'll talk a little bit about Patachara. But I'm telling you this now partly because on Sunday afternoon we're going to do a 30-minute unveiling and placing of that statue on the altar here. A group of students here at IMC have gifted this beautiful statue of Patachara to us. And we're going to unveil it here, and then eventually it'll live at our retreat center, the Insight Retreat Center. And you'll see a photograph of Patachara on the homepage of the website. If it doesn't just pop up right away, on the What's New section, there's a little announcement about this event on Sunday. It'll be on YouTube, this live channel here. So some of you might want to come, and otherwise, I'll be here Monday. I look forward to being with you again. Thank you.